One of my all-time favorite movies when I was in high school was Tombstone. It was packed full of all of my favorite actors, and I think I saw that movie probably two or three times in the movie theater. I was super excited when one of my friends here, Chris, his book club chose Tom Clavin's Tombstone as their book to read for this month. I'm telling you, this one has been on my TBR for the longest time. And this book tells about the famous gunfight at the OK Corral.
Here to disarm you, throw up your hands.
But it also goes into the details of the people and the town and the events that made that happen. Tombstone does a really good job of showing who the Earps were. There was Wyatt, Virgil, and Morgan. Wyatt was very smart, he was very serious about the law, and he was very ruthless when he got pushed. Virgil was more cautious and responsible. And then on the flip side of that is Morgan, and he was very loyal, but he was reckless. Together, they, with their wives, were just trying to live in a dangerous town and trying to survive. One of my favorite characters in this story is Doc Holliday, and he is fascinating.
I'm your huckleberry.
He was a dentist. He had tuberculosis that had weakened him. He was fearless and loyal. What I found interesting about him was that he was a gambler and a drinker, and he had this fiery temper, but yet he was probably one of the most loyal people in this book that didn't have the last name Earp. Okay? Doc Holliday stuck with Wyatt Earp throughout this book, and it was one of those parts of the story that I found most interesting. On the other side, you've got the Cowboys, and they're led by two people. There's Johnny Ringo and Ike Clavin. Johnny Ringo was very charming, but he was a skilled gunfighter, and he had a very dangerous reputation. Ike Clayton was a hothead who was reckless, and he was constantly pushing the Earps and causing trouble. Tom Clavin does a fantastic job at showing the tension between these two groups that were not only personal, but they're also political. Clavin's writing is very clear and is very easy to follow. He explains the rivalry, the politics, and the tension that made the violence almost inevitable. And when the gunfight finally does happen, it's intense because the book has been building to that story perfectly. Clavin shows how history turned these real people into legends. The book reminds you that this is a true story and it is more complicated than the movies like to show. Overall, Tombstone is engaging, it's well researched, and it is full of fascinating characters. If you like stories about real people in extreme situations, then this is the book you want to pick up.